Okay, I'm here today with my business partner and good friend Rachel Daigle from Montreal area in beautiful Canada. And it's wonderful to have you with us, Rachel, today.
Glad to be here.
And Rachel, you are a very experienced coach working with executive managers and all walk of life in different situations with people. And today, obviously, our focus is on the crisis, on what is at hand at the moment. And today, I was on a call with different business leaders, and somebody was mentioning about the importance, especially for younger business people, to be supported by experienced people who will tell them what to do in those kind of situations. As a coach, what do you think about that approach? It sounds good, doesn't it?
Yes, it is very good. I just want to kind of explain a bit the difference between what we call mentoring and coaching. The word coaching is used in a very generic way, and often people use the word coaching when they talk about mentorship. So a mentor is somebody who's very valuable, especially in a crisis. A mentor is somebody who has a certain amount of experience in navigating difficult situations. They have an expertise in maybe certain industries. And so they come alongside us and say, this is what I've done in the past. This is how I got through my challenges. If I were you, this is what I would do. So having that wisdom is really powerful to help a new leader go through. And yet, what coaching does, which is very different than mentoring, the coach recognizes that each person is is different than the person who's giving the mentoring. It's not the same person. The situation is not exactly the same. The values, the vision is not exactly the same. So it tells the person, based on who you are, based on where you want to go, how do you see this? What would you do? You've got this wonderful wisdom, and which part of it resonates with who you are and what you want to do? So it forces the person not to accept the mentorship as a whole, but to take it and filter it through who they are. So it's more authentic, and it also brings the person to be responsible of thinking through how they really want to do this. So it brings both, and that becomes a really powerful process to have both.
So do they always fit together, or can we use coaching by itself to find solutions?
What a great question, because um, as a coach, I tell people it's not necessarily one or the other. They don't negate each other. They actually complement each other. A lot of my clients, sometimes depending on where they are, they will need mentoring. They will need to maybe take a course, get some new information, develop skills. So, but we discover that through the coaching process of what they need. And sometimes the solution is, I don't know how to do this. I don't have the information. And so the coaching question becomes, how can you find the information? Who do you know that's an expert in this field that could help you? And so then we end up enlisting the help of a mentor. So they're not exclusive. They actually come together rather nicely.
Wow, this is really fascinating. And so to think that the coaching is helping navigating instead of taking everything that comes to us, it's kind of a filter, from what I understand.
Of authenticity.
Yeah. So, but I'm still fascinated. One point I want to come back on is normally we take advice from people, we read what others have done, and this is where we find our solution. How can we find a solution within us in an area where we've never been before?
um, that's a fabulous part of self-discovery. because we've been sort of indoctrinated through our lives to get information from the outside, from when we were children, our parents told us what to do. When we went to school, the teachers told us, what to learn, what to study, what to go through. And they didn't teach us necessarily how to think or be resourced. And then we show up at work and the boss and the team tells us what to do. And so there's a mix between, there are certain skills that, yes, I need to learn, but once I've learned them, the real growth, the real potential is through self-discovery and self-expression. And those things are innate. We're just not taught to go look there. But for those who do start looking, those are the people who really strive and succeed at a different level through life. And so there's a lot there in our inner natural potential, and it is through self-discovery. And that's the whole purpose of coaching, is to go discover and use that what we call our infinite potential. But if it's infinite, it must be pretty good. And how do we tap into that and use that?
Wow, this is a lot to process here. This is really, really exciting, a powerful mean. Now, if we think about a manager, especially a manager or team leader in a situation of crisis where everything is up in the air, what could that manager, maybe doesn't even have solutions. The team is also lost. What could this coaching approach bring, and do they need to be certified to do that?
Okay, you've got a couple of questions within that, so I'll try to kind of take one at a time. Just because we're temporarily lost doesn't mean that there's not a way, and it's by having that discovery conversation about what can I do. It's that while I can't see options right now, it doesn't mean that there aren't any options. So it's by asking empowering questions that we start to kind of take the blinders out and see new possibilities. Well, I don't know what to do. If you ask me right then, if you ask me, what could I do? Well, then I need to be kind of digging in, and new possibilities of moving forward will emerge. And when you have a team work together, a lot of creative solutions can come out. So it's about asking the right questions that have us think in a different way, that will come up with answers, and we will come up with answers. And what's neat about that is that you don't need to be a certified coach to do that as a team lead, but you do need to understand what a coach does, and that you can learn without having the specific certification. And it's actually one of the services that the Swiss Leaders Group does offer. We have a fabulous workshop that teaches some of the fundamentals. So while the team lead will not be a certified coach, will not be an expert, they can certainly move the conversations and the discovery in a much more empowering way for themselves and their team to move forward in a much more positive way.
Wow. Thank you so much for being our coach today for a few minutes, for sharing all those points. Sound really exciting. So thank you very much, Rachel.
It's my pleasure.